Welcome to the special Radhashtami festival program that's based here at Shri Shri Radha Temple. Shri Shri Radha Temple, one of their favorite festivals is Radhashtami. And prior to last year, 2020, and we've been carried, our festival has generally been carried and inspired by His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, giving many wonderful classes throughout the entire festival day, many amazing kirtans, and also inspiring the wonderful theater performances we would have each night. Really, really something. So we've been missing Maharaj a lot, especially on the Radhashtami festival, but very, very, very happy that he found some time to share with us this afternoon, to share his realizations and guide us on how to enter more deeply, enter more relevantly into this wonderful day, Sri Radhashtami. So Maharaj, we'll hand over directly to you now. Thank you very much once again for your time. Hare Krishna.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnanandana Salakya Chakshuramitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhustam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahanaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sibisakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabanu Jagatpate Gopisi Gopi Kakanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhyacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaisnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Radha Krishna Pranay Vikriti Ladini Shakti Rasmat. That Srimata Radharani is the Ladini Shakti, the pleasure potency of Krishna. That pleasure is drawn from love. The love between Radha and Krishna is of such a nature that between them there is a competition of transcendental love. Krishna captures her by his love. She captures Krishna by her love. And ultimately, yes, it is pointed out that Srimati Radharani has a greater power to attract Krishna than Krishna has to attract Radharani. In the Pajavali, Srila Rupa Goswami has given a number of verses Bruvalitannavakala Madura Nanasri Kankeli Koraka Karambita Kanapura Koyam Navinani Sopala Tulya Veso Vamsi Ravina Shakivam Avasi Karuti. The beauty of his face is sweetened when his fine brows begin their sudden skillful dance. Ashoka buds adorn his earrings. His dress is like bright gold, draped around a dark stone. O friend, who is this? The song of his flute robbed me of my will. Indi Varudara Sahodara Medurasi Vasudravat Kanakavrinda Nibam Dadanaha Amukta Muktika Manahara Hara Vakshaha Koyam Yuva Jagat Anangamayam Karoti. His silken luster resembles the center of a dark blue lotus. The cloth he wears falls like streams of liquid gold, and the pearl pendant on his chest entrances. Who is this youth? He fills the entire world with longing. Mano gatam manmata banabadam avi jayanti vatanor vikare dinanana bacham uvacharada tada tadala tadali janasammukesa. The anguish inflicted in her heart by the sharp shafts of love, Radha proclaimed throughout the agitation of her frail frame. And then, in the presence of her friends, spoke her face, betraying her sorrow. Yadavari Yamuna Kunje Ganaruchirava Kupe Nalini Dala Ivasalilam Tadavadi Taralayate Chitaha. Ever since I saw a dark luster in a grove on Yamuna's banks, my heart has quivered like a drop on a lotus leaf. Akasmat ekasmin patisakki maya yamuna tatam vrajan chadristoyo navajalladar shamala tanu sadrik bangyakim vakuruta nahi jane tataidam mano me vyalalam kvachana griya kricho nalagate. Suddenly, as I was walking down that path to Yamuna's shores, I saw him, his body, dark as clouds, pregnant with rain. What he did with a quick glance from the corner of his eye, I do not know, but since then my mind is shaken and can no longer concentrate on chorus. Pure nila jyotsna tadanu mrigana parimalas taturi lavenu quanitam manukanchi kalaravaha tato vidyutvari valaita chamatkar lahari tarangalavanyam tadanu sahajananda udaga. First arose a dark light, followed by the fragrance of musk, then the humming of a small flute, the soft tinkle of a girdle, then beauty born from billowing waves of wonder circled by streaks of lighting, then sudden bliss. Asamanjasam, 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 itat apatitam, balavakumara bhuja, hari 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 riksita kutaka. What stupidity, what stupidity, what stupidity came over me. God, oh God, considering him a mere cowherd boy, I curiously looked at Hari. Antakantamapitam didriksate manasam mama nasadu yatkrite indurindo mukhe manda marutas chandanam navitanoti vedanam. Ah, I wish I could see him, my beloved, because of him my thoughts are not right. Moon-faced friend, the moon, this breeze, and the cooling fragrance of sandal, prolonging my suffering. Guru Jana Ganjana Mayasu, Griyapati Charitam Chadarunam Kemapi, Vismariyati Samasatam, Shiva Shiva Murali Murarate. That my elders despised me, that my good name is soiled, that living with my husband is sometimes rough. My God, Murari's flute makes me forget it all. Swami kupyati kupyatam parijananindati nandan anyat kim pratatam ayam chadagati prodamam asasyam punaretat eva yatidam chakshuschiramba yenejam paripriyate muraripo sundarya saramvapu. My husband is upset. Let him be upset. My servants despise me. Let them despise me. So what? Let this great affliction of mine be gossiped throughout the world. What I desire is only this. Let my sense of sight ever increase, so I may drink deep the quintances of beauty. That is the form of Mura's foe. Kim durmilena mama juti manoratena tavanti hantu sukritani kaya kritani itavat eva mama janma phalam murari janitrayo patibhibhati gata gatani. Trusted friend, what is the point of this unfulfilled desire of mine? Alas, who can act so piously? This alone is what my life has brought within the range of my sight. Murari comes, but from it he also goes. Sakima maniyati hatayas tadarsana bhagyam astu vamamva punarapi savena nado yani karnapate pate tati valam. Friend, will I, ruined by fate, have the fortune of seeing him or not? Even so, if the sound of his flute reaches my ears, that would be sufficient. Questions to Radha. Kamam vapu pulakitam nayane dritasve vacha sat gatkara padai sakkikam pivakshaha yatam mukunda muralirava madurite cheta sudam suvadana tarali karuti. I know your body bristles, your eyes well up, your words stutter, your chest pounds, moon-faced friend. I know the sweet sound of Mukunda's flute has shaken your mind. Astam tavata kirtirme tvaya taitam tukatyatam chitam katam nivasitte harirvamsi ravasutu. Let me be disgraced, but tell me truly, what became of your mind when you heard the sound of Hari's flute? Satyam jalpase dusaha kalagira satyam kulam nirmalam satyam niskarunapyayam sahachara satyam sudur sarit tat sarvam saki vismarami jatiti srotatitir jayate chatunmana mukunda manju muralini swana ragutkati. What you say is true. They are cruel. Slurs are hard to beat. And yes, my family's name is impeccable. And yes, I consider him a friend, though he's not kind. And yes, I have no men here. There must be a man. And yes, the river flows far from here. But all this, my friend, I at once forget when I hear the first notes of the maddening melody sung by Mukunda's sweet flute. All right, these are very exalted verses, and we immediately enter deep into the nature of the experience of love that Srimati Radharani went through. It is not just a weak sentiment. It is rather overwhelmingly strong. The nature of that love is like powerful waves that wash her along, that sweep her away, and she can only follow. That love has increased in her an unlimited desire, which is still not fulfilled. An unlimited desire to be with Krishna, to have his association, to somehow or other connect with Krishna at every moment, to see Krishna at every moment. And yet she sees him, but he also disappears from her sight, which then leaves her with such intense feelings of separation that a moment without Krishna is just almost unbearable. And the only way it becomes bearable is by remembering Krishna. Because remembering Krishna is so blissful that actually even separation becomes drowned out. Because remembering Krishna is non different from being with Krishna. Yeah. Remembering Krishna is the same as directly being in Krishna's association. So in this way, we see in this way we are appreciating that Srimati Radharani is the love that she's experiencing is not under her control. There's lots of people coming in and they're distracting you. Just a sec. Sit down, be quiet. Okay, I settled that matter. Now we can meditate again. Yeah. So that love of Srimati Radharani is so powerful that it just simply takes control of her life. It takes complete control of every moment, and it has nothing to do with her effort. It is simply happening. This love is just like a tidal wave, and she's just going along with it. Stop, sit inside, Cash, and just be quiet. Come here and be quiet. Yes. So in this way, we are entering Janmashtami, Radhashtami. I'm sorry, these distractions are not. Okay, people cannot come in and out. Okay, I'm meditating, trying to. So this love of Srimati Radharani is of such depth that it is it lives a life of its own and takes her through all kinds of experiences, sometimes moments of overwhelming ecstasy, sometimes moments of great separation, and it is a constant experience. Krishna is also affected in that way. In the Vidakta Madhava, Srila Rupa Goswami explains this a little further. In the Vidakta Madhava, we get a description that Radharani is in the forest and trying to meet Krishna. She's there with Vishaka. But as she's in the forest, she's overwhelmed by feelings of separation. So Vishaka, who is a very good artist, is trying to alleviate those feelings by making a nice drawing of Krishna. When Srimati Radharani sees that drawing, her feelings of separation are not getting any less, rather they increase, they become double. Because now she is attached to the form of Krishna, who she remembers from Purvarag, from previous occasions. But now she's equally attached to that picture. She's totally attached to that picture. It's not just nice picture, but that picture is like completely taking over her consciousness. And now these two attachments are fighting with each other. So Vishaka made the situation only worse. Meanwhile, Krishna is also elsewhere in the forest. And Krishna is with Sridham and Madhumangal. And Krishna says to Sridham, he says, isn't it that Srimati Radharani is the most wonderful girl in the entire universe? Sridham doesn't say anything. He doesn't know what to say. Finally, Madhumangal says, it's his sister. Krishna is clearly confused. He forgets that Sridham is the sister of Sridham. And of course, the relationship with Srimati Radharani is a hidden relationship. It is parakiya ras. It is a forbidden relationship. It is a secret relationship. No one is supposed to know. So then Srimati Radharani, in great separation from Krishna, only thinking of Krishna, with kumkum, with the kumkum from her hair, from the part in her hair, she writes on a leaf the name of Krishna. She writes Krishna. Then she roams on in the forest looking for Krishna. Later, Krishna comes to that leaf in the forest and he sees his name written on that leaf. And he can understand that it is Srimati Radharani who wrote his name in kumkum on the leaf. Then he takes his flute and expresses his love in response to what she wrote on that leaf. And when Srimati Radharani hears that flute, she just becomes totally overwhelmed. And she says, I am condemned because I became attached simultaneously to three personalities, Purusa Traya. I became attached to Purusa Traya, to three personalities simultaneously, namely that person from whom I remember the form, that person who is on the drawing, and the person who plays the flute. I became simultaneously attached to three persons, therefore I'm condemned, therefore I should give up my life. Vishaka says, but they're one and the same. Radharani says, one and the same? And yes, Vishaka repeats, yes, they're one and the same person. So this is the extent to which the love of God is overwhelming Srimati Radharani. She is completely so intensely experiencing every experience, and when she sees different images of Krishna, she can no longer understand that these are just different images of the same person. So her love leads sometimes to transcendental madness, a level of consciousness which is no longer relating to the external world in a normal way, in a rational way. She is just lived by her emotions. And these emotions are 100% pure, 100% pure. Every single feeling, every single act, every single thought every single desire is simply aimed at pleasing Krishna. We all know what it's like in spiritual life when there are so many inner contradictions. We are living our life with inner contradictions. On the one hand, a desire for pure devotional service. On the other hand, desires for material enjoyment. On the one hand, thoughts about being Krishna conscious. On the other hand, desires that go in an opposite direction, and so on and so on. So many contradictions in our consciousness. But in Srimati Radharani, there is no contradiction. Her desires, her thoughts, every inch, every millimeter, every aspect of her existence is only aimed at pleasing Krishna. This is pure devotional service. On everything is to be given to Krishna. Nothing to be held back. Everything completely. Therefore, this day of Radhashtami is that day, the day of pure devotional service, the day to give everything, the day to completely dedicate ourselves in desire, in thought, in action, to in our thinking, feeling, and willing, in the service of Krishna, all for his pleasure. So, as I said, we have our inner contradictions, and therefore we also have contradictory feelings. We have inspiration from Krishna consciousness, but we also have moments where we feel struggle and where we feel that is very difficult to. Many times we do something in Krishna consciousness, but at the same time, our mind wants to do something else. We're chanting japa, but we want to do something else. We are in a kirtan, we want to do something else. So many times such contradictions arise in our nature. So Srimati Radharani is really a Kena Manasa. She has only a one-pointed focus to please Krishna. And anything and everything is for the pleasure of Krishna. This is what we are seeing in her example. Yeah, so therefore we are dwarfed in front of Srimati Radharani. In 2020, I spoke about Srimati Radharani, and that in front of Srimati Radharani, we are like insignificant. We are like ants on the path of bhakti. And like ant-like creatures, insignificant creatures, but on the path of bhakti. That is the good part. And on that path of bhakti, there are many miracles. On that path of bhakti, there are many amazing experiences, things that cannot be imagined. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears, he appears particularly to experience this mood of pure love of Srimati Radharani. And therefore, when we turn to Srimati Radharani, we turn to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nowhere are we finding such depth and insight in the nature of the love, that the loving exchange between Radha and Krishna as expressed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The entire purpose of the Chaitanya Charitamrita is to reveal this transcendental love. That is the topic of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And it is gradually revealing this transcendental love more and more. In the Antya Lila, we see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is entering into the deepest absorption. And he becomes like Radharani. He forgets the external world. He only thinks of Krishna. He sees Krishna. We see that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is picking flowers. He sees the gopis and they are picking flowers for Krishna and he joins them. He is also there picking flowers for Krishna. You see that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappears into the ocean. He floats away. His limbs come loose. The joints all come loose. And he becomes elongated. His body becomes very long and he's floating in the waters. And then he's floating for a long time in the sea. The fisherman catches him and pulls him to the side, and he looks like very white from being in the water for a long time and long. And it's an intense sight. Then the devotees come and bring Chaitanya Mahaprabhu back to consciousness. And when that is happening, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu begins to speak and says, I was with Krishna and the gopis in the Yamuna performing water pastimes. And it said it was just amazing. And then I heard this tumultuous noise, which was the chanting of all the devotees. And that took me away from Vrindavan. Oh, why have you brought me here? We see that there is an internal life, not just an external life, but a deep internal life. And that in that internal life, it is in pure love, it is not just a matter of feelings of love, but it goes a step further. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati explains to us that in bhava, a transformation begins to take place. When we come to the stage of bhava, what happens is that at that stage, Krishna manifests himself in our meditation. And this only increases further in the stage of Krishna praying. We find a description in the biography of Srinivas Acharya, which sheds some light on this point. And there it is described that Srinivas was while being in the material world, he was able to see the pastimes of Krishna and the gopis in Vrindavan in the spiritual world. And he saw them playing holy. He saw how they had syringes filled with colors, taken from flowers, mixed with water. And the gopis, right, were joining in attack to Krishna with their syringes. Krishna, however, was very expert. Krishna shot one squirt into the sky, which then was like a cloud. Then that cloud, it just broke into many pieces and became many clouds. And in this way, he hit each of the gopis with a color cloud. It was a terrible battle. It was just an overwhelming battle. And each of the gopis also managed to somehow or other hit Krishna with colors. So in this way, the gopis played holy. And Srinivas Acharya, although he was in the material world, he stood still, and he was internally in the spiritual world, in that pastime. Also, he wasn't just an observer, but he was also playing holy in his spiritual body, or I would rather say her spiritual body, because in that body he was a gopi. So Srinivas Acharya then, he also became hit by the colors. And when Srinivasa Acharya then came to external consciousness, then he saw that his body had become covered in color. Just then, as Srinivas saw this, there was another incident. And that incident was the gopis were assisting Srimati Radharani to dress. Srimati Radharani, she dresses, well, I call it she dresses to kill, right? She dresses to somehow or other attract the mind of Krishna. Not just attract the mind of Krishna, but to drive his mind mad. That is her objective. And the gopis are assisting. So there is the dot on her forehead, but it's not just a red dot, right? Rather, it is a dot with like intricate designs and drawings, and some of the gopi assistants are working on this drawing on the dot for quite a while. It's a serious job to just get the dot right. Yeah. Anyway, so everything is like quite something, dressing Srimati Radharani. Then Srimati Radharani is, as she was dressed, just then they were handing a nose ring, a pearl and a nose ring, which was supposed to go inside her nose, and that slipped from someone's hand and fell into the Yamuna. Srinivas just saw it. He saw exactly where it fell. Then, in his spiritual body, as a gopi, Srinivas jumped into the Yamuna, picked up that nose ring, and just presented it in time, just in time, to be put into Srimati Radharani's nose. In this way, Srimati Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan. And she is assisted by so many gopis who are all her maidservants. She's like the spiritual master. When she's the queen of Vrindavan, she is like the guru, right? More than the queen, she is the guru. It is said that Srimati Radharani is the guru for those who are in Madhurya Ras. Not only here in this material world, but equally so eternally. Because she's always teaching how to serve Krishna in pure love. And everything she does is just that. Every morning. Anyway, so we're seeing a little bit of how in praying, it begins in Bhava, how Krishna manifests and how the devotee begins to perceive pastimes. So speaking about the internal life, and in the internal life, the separation between the material world and the spiritual world is no longer clearly defined. Right? For a moment, the devotee is present in the material world. Next moment, the devotee is present in the spiritual world. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srimati Radharani were in this way experiencing the situation in relation to Krishna. We know that because of the intensity of that love, that when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, then there are great feelings of separation. When Rupa Goswami was traveling, he came to a place called Satyabhamapur. And in Satyabhamapur, Rupa Goswami had a dream. And in that dream, a female personality appeared before him and told him that he should write 2 dramas. One drama about the pastimes in Vrindavan and one drama of Krishna's pastimes out of Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami had an intention to write 1 drama about Krishna's pastimes, but Satyabhama mentioned it should be 2. Later, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed that it should be 2 dramas. So Rupa Goswami wrote these 2 dramas. One drama about the pastimes in Vrindavan is known as Vidakta Madhava, and I just sort of very simply summarized it. That was about the being attached to the 3 personalities at the same time. Now I want to say a few things about the other drama, which is known as the Lalita Madhava. And the Lalita Madhava is as follows. It is describing the mood of separation that Srimati Radharani, the gopis, and all the other residents of Vrindavan are experiencing when Krishna is not personally or not physically present with them. It describes that mood of separation became so strong that it brought them practically to the verge of death. It was so overwhelming, this separation, practically on the verge of death. Then in the Lalita Madhava, Rupa Goswami describes they were not just on the verge of death. This time, it actually became too much. This time, it was more than they could tolerate. And this time, Srimati Radharani left her body. Well, when that happened, everyone was heartbroken, and as a result, they also could no longer sustain their lives, and they also left. Then Srila Rupa Goswami describes how they all reincarnated and how they all became the queens in Dwarka. And so it is said that Chandravali, she became Rukmini. And Radharani, she was the younger queen. Right? Krishna married her later. And Satyabhama, the one with the strong nature, that was Radharani. Yes. And like this, they all appeared like that. And so these queens of Dwarka are described by Rupa Goswami's expansions of the forms in Vrindavan. Then what happened was that, yes, with Rukmini, Krishna had a very formal relationship. There was Aishvarya in that relationship. There was external opulence. Since Rukmini was the first queen, then Krishna would address her. How is Her Majesty feeling today? You know, is she all right? Yes, like that. Krishna would speak in a very, very formal way with Rukmini, and would say, "Oh yes, my first queen. How may this servant of yours?" Right? And with Satyabhama, it was a totally different situation. But when Rukmini was present, then Rukmini would predominate. She would predominate the situation. So there was no question for the other queens to get very intimate with Krishna at such a time. And Rukmini was always around. Therefore, for Satyadama, for Satyabhama, to actually meet with Krishna alone, that wasn't so easy. Rukmini was always there. So it was stolen moments again. Just like in Vrindavan, again, stolen moments with the younger queen. And then, oh yes, Rukmini knew it very well. He's again with that younger queen now. And she would make it a point, right, to break them up, to sort of be there, to kind of break up that situation. Anyway, in this way, Rupa Goswami has described the pastimes in Vrindavan, where he describes the intensity of the love of Radha and Krishna. And he also describes the pastimes out of Vrindavan, where he describes how even the Dwarka pastimes are expansions of the Vrindavan pastimes. In this regards, Jiva Goswami comments in the Gopal Champu. Jiva Goswami says, Krishna is speaking, and Krishna is saying that my mind, what is happening when I'm with the queens of Dwarka? Then my mind is thinking about the residents of Vrindavan. But when I'm in Vrindavan and with the residents of Vrindavan, then I'm never thinking of the residents of Dwarka. Therefore, my conclusion is that the residents of Dwarka are the expansions, and that the residents of Vrindavan are the originals. Yes. So we see the same philosophical point expressed in the Lalita Madhava from Rupa Goswami. Yeah, so the wonders of transcendental love, what can we say? Those wonders of transcendental love, we cannot imagine. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Ishvarata dadine su bali se su disat sucha kripa maitri nirapiksha yakaruti samajamam prema maiti kripa peksha yakaruti samajamam. So what it says is that the Madhyam Adhikari, for Ishvara, he has prem, or for the Supreme Lord, he has prem. Now, that's interesting to note that the word prem is used, because generally prem is used as to describe love in its topmost stage, which is experienced by the Uttama Adhikaris. But here it is said that whatever the Madhyam Adhikaris experience is also prem. But it is not of the same nature as the prem of the Uttama Adhikari, or not of the same intensity, but it is of the same nature. It is not different. So even the Uttama Adhikari has a sense of love for Krishna. Even we may have a sense of love for Krishna. We love to do certain things for Krishna. We love to be part of the Abhishek. We love to do the kirtan. We love to bathe the Lord in flowers, right? And we love all these things. We love a boat festival. These are wonderful things. We love drama pastimes. We love so much about Krishna consciousness. And so that is the love of the Madhyam Adhikari. There is love, but that love is not constantly experienced, and that love is not always overwhelming. It is not always in the foreground, sometimes in the foreground, sometimes in the background. It is there, and that love doesn't have the same level of depth. So the point is that the love that we are experiencing is meant to be increasing. It is meant to be increasing. In Adi Lila chapter 4, there's a point which I often quote, the competition between the qualities of Krishna and the love of Srimati Radharani. And Krishna has unlimited qualities. And then Srimati Radharani embraces each of these qualities. Her love embraces each quality. And when she finds one more quality of Krishna, because unlimited qualities, a quality that she didn't know, then she loves that quality also. And then her love increases and she finds another quality of Krishna that she didn't know. And immediately she loves that also. And in this way, her love is eternally increasing. And not only Srimati Radharani's love is eternally increasing, we also, our love is also eternally increasing. Because we're also discovering more and more. And in this way, our love for Krishna is eternally increasing. And in this way, as we see the love for Krishna increasing in the other devotees, and we see the love for Srimati Radharani increasing in the devotees, and we see then the devotees, their love for each other is also increasing. And this is the spiritual world. It is an ocean of transcendental love, which is eternally increasing. That is Krishna's purpose. In the 10th canto, we find a description, Yatar Barka Pratibimba, like a boy who's sitting at the side of a reservoir of water, playing with his own energies. Srimati Radharani is Krishna's energy. We, the jivas, are Krishna's energy. Krishna is the origin of everything. It is Krishna who's playing with his own energies, but he does so eternally. And his purpose is to eternally increase transcendental love, eternally. In the hearts of all, in the hearts of Srimati Radharani, in the heart of her immediate associates, the Astasakis, in the heart of the Manjaris, who are the associates of the Astasakis, in the hearts of all the living beings in the material world, and in his own heart, to increase the love for all his devotees. This is really the movement that we are part of. And Srimati Radharani is leading us in this regard. She is leading us in our service. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami has explained that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the Chaitanya Vaishnavas, are devotees of Radharani. They are devotees of Radharani. They're not devotees of Krishna. They're devotees of Radharani because it is through Radharani that we can serve Krishna. Better than serving Krishna directly. And so, all the Gaudiyas are trying to assist Srimati Radharani and in making wonderful arrangements for Krishna to attract his love. And in this way, to increase his love. And in this way, to increase that premamritambo, that ocean of transcendental bliss. This is the community of Vaishnavas. This is the movement that we are part of. So actually, we understand that Srimati Radharani is actually the very core of this movement. And that we are all engaged in the service of Srimati Radharani, because no one can please Krishna like she can. That is the most confidential knowledge in this movement, and that is particularly discussed amongst devotees. And so that is my meditation now that I shared with you. I thank you. On this day of Radhashtami, we stand before Srimati Radharani and her eternal associates, and appreciate that this is very exalted, that we are very fallen, very far from that reality. So therefore, on this day, we pray for mercy. We pray for mercy. And that this mercy, that it is by mercy that we are where we are now. Without mercy, we wouldn't be here. It is by mercy. It is by mercy that we can go forward. And we are praying. We're praying today for Srimati Radharani to, despite the fact that we are not qualified, to give us the mercy to become pure, the mercy that we can become qualified to understand the depths of pure devotional service. Okay, I thank you very much. First of all, devotees from Durban. Yes, I would have liked to be with you on Radhashtami today, like we have been celebrating many years. Durban is the place, undoubtedly. Radha Radhanath are the deities. The festival is very nice, very sweet. I would have liked to be there, but impossible. So at least we have this online, and that is nice. And there are devotees from other parts of the world who are also part of this. That is also a nice addition. So I'm very happy that you could be here, and I pray that you will turn to Srimati Radharani and pray for her mercy, so that we can become more advanced in devotional service. Thank you very much, Srup Damodar Prabhu. Thank you for adjusting the time. I'm sorry, there was a little different forces were working simultaneously.
It's a festival. How can it not happen?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It happens. But somehow or other, you managed to bring the devotees at 4:00. I thank you very much for that. I thank all of you who are here. I wish you still a wonderful evening, or wherever you are, if you're in another time zone, I still wish you a lot of inspiration. And may this Radhashtami bring us a little deeper in our relationship with Radha and Krishna. It's not only that it will be a nice festival, but let us bring a little deeper into the reality of the spiritual world. That is my wish. Hare Krishna. Shri Radhashtami Maha Mahotsava Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai, thank you, Maharaj. And thank you for thinking of us here at Radha Radhanath Temple, and to all the devotees. Together with Maharaj, you're all invited for next year's festival, either in person or at least online, somehow or the other. We'll make a plan. And thank you for your wish at the end, Maharaj. Really do appreciate that. So I hope you have a rest of a ecstatic Radhashtami festival there in Croatia, and to all the devotees wherever you are. So much more to look forward to. Here at Radha Radhanath Temple, we just unveiled the deities in their third new outfit. Beautiful darshan. And later this evening, we'll have His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj giving us class online. So we look forward to that as well. So that's at 7:30 South African time. Thank you once again, Maharaj, and all the devotees. Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.